Hello everyone and welcome back to TGR, That's Gaming Robo. Everybody, today we are doing TGR, That's Gaming Robo's top 10 left backs on Championship Manager 0102. Now just before we do go diving right into this, I just want to make sure that you are all well aware that I do want you all to subscribe to our channel so we can make it bigger and better. And don't forget, with each video you watch of TGR, That's Gaming Robos, if you do like this video, hit that like button as well. And when you do subscribe, please make sure you hit that notification bell as well. Also, just before we do crack on as well, guys, just one other little thing. I am now a patron. So if you guys want to be nice enough to obviously go into the patron side and obviously donate a monthly subscription to myself, please obviously do so, and all of the proceeds will go forward so I can make these videos bigger and better for each and every one of you. But that's enough of that, guys. Let's go straight into my top 10 best left backs on CM 0102. Let's find out who's at number 10. Ashley Cole. Now, he is 20 years of age, obviously another Englishman, but one of the main issues why he's at number 10, he's not further down my list, is the fact that if you're anyone other than Arsenal, it is so hard to try and prize him away from Arsenal Football Club. Now, he is valued at 4.1 million, and he does get paid £5,000 a week, but he is Arsenal's number one left back in their team. So, but you look at his stats, he's absolutely brilliant. There's nothing that really you can fault him on, because if you put him in the right training regime and you give him game time, he turns out to be an absolute cracker of a left back. But like I said, the main thing for me is to try and prize him away from Arsenal. That's the only major issue in my mind. But that's enough for number 10. Let's go and see who is at number 9. Mikel Silvestre. Now, Mikel Silvestre, everyone online usually says he's one of the best left backs on the game. My own personal opinion, yeah, he is a very good left back. I mean, obviously he's number 9 for my top 10 list. But I mean, I can find so many other people that I think, in my own personal opinion, plays a lot better than him. But without obviously giving him too many negatives, I mean, he is a very good player. I mean, you know, I think he's number 9 on my list. I mean, he's valued at 4 million. And obviously his wages are $17,000 a week. But once again, a bit like Ashley Cole, if you're not Manchester United, it's very hard to prize him away from Man United. They just want so much money for him. And with him being 23, you know, they can ask for 15, 20 million. You know, unlike, you know, the Football Manager, or, you know, today's sort of games where you've got loads of money. You don't with CM 0102, so you have to try and budget for each player that you're looking for. But other than that, he is a fantastic player. He does get the odd red cards, etc., but who doesn't at the end of the day? But that's it for number 9. Let's show you who I think is at number 8 on my top 10 list. Dida, or Didi, whichever way you want to look at it as. He plays for Dortmund, so obviously they are a top German side, but in most cases, you can prize players away from Dortmund. It's not that difficult, if I'm being honest. Obviously, one of the main flaws for him, unfortunately, is the fact that you do have to go through the work permit route. Now, with DD, 9 times out of 10, he goes through with flying colours. I mean, even though he's only played for Brazil once, that doesn't really come into effect, oddly enough. But he is a number 1 left back for Dortmund. But like I said, they're not a team that sort of blocks the transfers. They do let him go. They obviously they want to bump up the money ever so slightly, but they do let their players go. Now Dida or Deda is valued at £5.5 million, and he does get paid at £18,000 a week. But like I said, that's Dida or Didi at number 8. Let me show you who is at number 7. Wilfried Bouma. Now, Wilfried Bouma, he's not your noticeable standout left back, because obviously, majority of the time, he does play in defensive midfield. But he does actually dabble up front as well. But in my own eyes, I look at his stats and I see the way he plays. You look at his tackling per game, etc., etc. He looks so much better, and he plays so much better as a left back. So this is the reason why I'm putting him in at number 7. Now, Wilfried Bouma is valued. He is the highest one out of the lot at the moment at £7.5 million, and he does get paid £12,500 a week. But with him being a Dutchman, obviously there's no issues when it comes to the work permit side. PSV, 9 times out of 10, they let their players go. Once again, they do bump up probably about an extra 5 or 6 million, maybe 7 at a push, depending on what player you are trying to get. But with Wilfried Bouma, they don't stand in the way. They do let him go, but you may have to pay a little bit more. You might be, at the very most, looking at £15 million to prize him away from PSV. But that's it for Wilfried Bouma. Let's show you who is in at number 6 and has just missed out on my top 5. Gareth Barry. Gareth Barry, another Englishman. He can play left back or centre back on the game. I personally prefer him as a left back. His pace and his acceleration's on point with each other. His tackling's exactly the same. But his stamina, being at 15, with his pace, he would be able to run up and down that left side of the pitch with ease, really. I mean, he does play for Aston Villa, so they're not a top European side. So you can get a transfer out of them, more than likely after the second season for Gareth Barry. Now, he is valued at £3.7 million, and he does get paid at $10,000 a week. But with Gareth Barry, I mean, you've got an Englishman, so for some odd reason, the English players always seem to be sold, get sold for more. Don't know why that is. Just it happens in real life, doesn't it? At the end of the day, but he is a very good player, and he's one of these players that you can rely on within your team. Like I said, he's just missed out on my top 5. So let's see the 5th person who picked Gareth Barry. Vincent Candela. Yes, he can play left back and defensive left midfield, even though he is right-footed. But with Vincent Candela, he runs down the left-hand side of the flank. He then cuts into his right foot and he in-swings across, which is very, very dangerous in the footballing game. Now, yes, he is at 27 years of age, so you've probably got about 7 years of football with him, maybe 5 or 6 at his peak. But at the end of the day, he's still a very, very, very good candidate for my top 10 list. Now, he is valued at £6.75 million, and he does get paid £37,000 a week. He is a French number 1. He is French number 1 and number 2 left back. And the reason why I say number 1 and number 2, because obviously they do rotate it within France. And of course, they do have Mikel Silvestre within their team. But Vincent Candela, he is a cracking left back, and he is one, because he's played at the highest game, it's one that you should feel very comfortable within your team if you do decide to go for Vincent Candela. But that's it for number 5, guys. Let's see who's made it at number 4 in my top 10 list. Paauwe. Now, Patrick plays for Feyenoord. It's not the biggest team in Holland, so it's not one of these players it does take a bit of struggle to prize away from them. Now, I do understand and I do appreciate that it does show that he is a defensive midfielder, left centre. But you look at his stats very, very, very carefully. His tackling's 14, teamwork and work rate and technique at 17 and 15. Stamina and strength is at 16. His pace 14. He is a really good candidate for being a left back. And this is one thing that I've actually done previously, but buying Patrick Paauwe and actually play him as a left back. He does have the stamina, like I said, to be able to run up and down that left flank all day long. Now, with Feyenoord, he is valued at £5.5 million, and he does get paid £21,500 a week. Now, the relegation release clause, personally, I wouldn't even bother looking at it or even entertaining the idea, because Feyenoord's not a team that would get relegated from the Eredivisie League. But apart from that, guys, that is Patrick Paauwe. He has just missed out on the top 3 spaces. But let's see who is in my top 3. First of all, in 3rd place, we have Roberto Carlos, the legend himself. Yes, he is 28. Okay. But the reason why he is in my top 3 is the fact that A and 1, he's a legend. B and 2, his pace and acceleration is second to none. There's not many people that can beat him in a running race. His work rate and teamwork's very, very good. I mean, as you guys all know now, you've got to look at the fact that the work rate and teamwork is very important within this game because they've got to work well within the team. Tackling, okay, not the greatest. Strength's very good for the little man that he is, and his stamina is brilliant. But let's be honest, we all remember Roberto Carlos for those amazing free kicks. Let's be honest, that's the main reason. I have bought Roberto Carlos once, maybe twice at the most, for my team. It does take about 3 years for him to gain citizenship within him having an English passport. So, yes, it goes into his 31st year, maybe 32nd if you buy him in the second season, obviously. But apart from that, guys, Roberto Carlos, he is a legend. Brazil's legend, he's a Real Madrid legend, and in my eyes, he is a CMO 102 legend. Reason being, I think he is. Don't really need to give a reason. Obviously, it's my own personal opinion, but in my eyes, he is a legend in all aspects of the game, reality or not reality. But he didn't make number 2. Who is number 2, do you say? Okay, let's find out right now. Juan Pablo Sorin. I purposely wanted to find a left back who no one's mentioning. I've trudged through the internet, cannot find anyone ever mentioning Juan Pablo Sorin, but I guarantee there's probably one person who probably has come across him before and has mentioned him, but I cannot physically find it. Now, he is an Argentinian. It takes about 4 years for him to gain his citizenship. But the reason why I've picked him, I have bought him before, and his average rating for a whole season is literally just under 8. You know, and for a left back, that's absolutely amazing. You know, not just a left back, a defender, full stop. I mean, his acceleration and his pace is brilliant. His work rate 20, teamwork 18, stamina 15. I mean, his crossing's 10. Okay, he's not the best crosser in the world, but he is one of these guys, ironically, who's actually so stable in defence, who doesn't really have a bad game. Doesn't, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Now, with Juan Pablo Sorin, he is valued at £3.4 million, and he does get paid £12,000 a week. But obviously, he didn't make number 1. Someone else did. Someone else has picked him to my first place in my top 10 left backs on this game. Now, Juan Pablo Sorin does know this guy very well. He is a fellow countryman. The number 1 of my top 10 left backs on this game is Julio Arca. Young 20-year-old playing at Sunderland. Everyone's mentioned him online, and I'm not going to dispute it. He is an absolute cracker of a left back on the game. You train him right, you give him the game time, he does turn out to be the best left back. There's no denying it. There really, really isn't. Sunderland don't like to sell him within the first season. You usually have to try and get him away from the second season onwards. But he is valued at £2.6 million, and they do pay him a whopping £20,000 a week already. But, I mean, his pace acceleration's good. Work rate's 19, teamwork 14. Okay, he's not the best. Stamina's 17. Influence is 18, which is really, really important, you know, when it comes to potentially choosing a new captain within a few years. But this guy, there's no point me giving you any sort of spiel about Julio Arca when you more than likely already know loads about him. All you need to know is you buy him from the second season onwards. You give him the best training regime possible. If you don't know any training regime, I do have a video on here on my channel, so please make sure you give it a look. But give him the best training regime. If you don't feel comfortable making him your first choice left back, then you make sure you do it as a squad rotation. You know, he needs game time, and I promise you, I am promising you that you will see him turn out to be the best left back on this game. But that's it for the top 10 left backs on this game, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do like the video, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, I think you should be doing it right now. You should be subscribing to TGR, That's Gaming Robo, because we don't just do tips for this game or any other game. We also do actual seasons, i.e. Lost in Time. Season 1, Episode 1 and Episode 2 is already on our channel, so please make sure you do give it a look. And also, guys, I mentioned it at the beginning of this video, but please make sure if you are willing to be, to participate in being a patron for myself by donating a monthly fee. Obviously, there is 3 different bandings on there, so please make sure you do give it a look. All the money will make sure is to make sure that we can give you bigger and better videos so we can entertain you better than what we're doing right now. Apart from that, guys, this is TGR, That's Gaming Robo, saying thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Bye!